What's up, geniuses? Welcome back to For the Record. I'm your host, Markman. Now, you know, every week, always got a little something to talk about, a little something to discuss as it pertains to hip-hop culture. A lot of things been popping up in the news. So this week, I felt like I want to speak about writing in hip-hop, ghostwriting, what the old stigma was, and how it's changing. So, you know, I brought a couple friends, esteemed colleagues, great artists to come speak with me. First up, we got my man from Brooklyn, Source Money.
What's good, my brother?
What's good, man? Welcome to For the Record.
No doubt.
And last but never ever least, is one of my favorite new artists. I know if y'all watch the show, I big up all the time when we talk about new artists. Melii.
What's good?
What's up? Good? Welcome. Congratulations on the new album. Your debut album, Phases, is out now.
Thank you.
Nah, man, I'm really fucking with it, man. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to talk about, and you know, this is a conversation. So you and I have this conversation a lot, and for the viewers who are just now getting acclimated, Sauce, as well as being an artist yourself, you wrote one of the biggest records in hip hop history with Puff, I'll Be Missing You.
Right.
What are we? Is that diamond? Is that 10 times platinum?
Yeah, I think it's over 10 now.
Over 10.
Yeah.
You know, so we've always known about writers in hip hop. You've been one of the ghostwriters. You receive credit, but you've been one of kind of the behind the scenes people writing. And this week, City Girls, or last week actually, City Girls dropped the video for Act Up. It came out in the news that Yachty wrote the record. A lot of people were just surprised that Yachty wrote the record. One being a guy writing in a female's perspective. Right. I guess people hadn't actualized that. And then in the video, they actually play it up and they make fun of it. You can see Yachty coaching Young Miami how to do it.
Right.
Some people were like against it. Cardi B came out and is like, I don't give a fuck. Y'all gonna listen to the record anyway. A lot of people came out in defense of Young Miami, and it's been like a topic, and then people have been talking about it.
Right.
So, just if you could kind of give us the history of writing and ghostwriters in hip hop and the artists not necessarily writing their own lyrics, because this is nothing new, right? This has been going on since the beginning of hip hop.
Right. Yeah. Nah. I mean, just from the beginning, you had ghostwriters from the actual Sugar Hill Gang. You had a ghostwriter from like one of the very first records that, you know, popped culturally, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's always been, you know, ghostwriters from the very start of it, you know, so this is really nothing new. What I think is happening is, you know, it's evolution,
right.
You know, it's a new time, it's a new day, you know, and at the end of the day, I think people only really care about the finished product. They don't care about the process. You know, it's just like, does the food taste good? We don't care how you made it.
Because we came up in an era where, though we knew what was going on, it was taboo to speak about.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily cool to admit, and now you have artists like Cardi B owning it. Cardi B has been very vocal about invasion of privacy, about the work that she's done with other writers, and very clear about what she's in it for. Melii, I wanted to throw this to you because I remember a conversation that you and I had over text when Phases came out. It was like midnight. And one of the things you were proud of not only having your debut album out, you were very proud to be the writer on your album. I've written my own stuff. I don't have anybody writing for me. And I thought that was so cool that you took pride in that, because I do feel like what Sauce is saying, a lot of things are changing in this generation, and I don't know if it's as important to artists or fans, but it's very important to you. So I just wanted to get into your mind and see why it was really important for you to write your own stuff and not have anybody write for you.
I feel like I don't, like at this point, I get like the whole overall, like he said, people want the finished product, so I don't really like, I mind my business on that. Yeah. But in general, like I always want my audience to know that it's coming from me, so that they know like it's a genuine me. Like, this is who y'all getting, this is who I am, so that if I ever mess up in public or y'all see stuff about me, this is who I talk like about in my music. This is me, you feel me? And more so just the fact that not, like you said, is a popular thing now that people have writers. So I feel like with having your fans, they want to see you grow. So you grow with them every project, anything that you put out. And then they have the platform to be like, oh, yo, she's growing. She's getting better at her writing. You feel me? So it's just something that just gets stronger as you just maintain it, be consistent with it. I feel like I said, I don't judge anybody who does have a writer, but I feel like me having a writer where would like hinder certain things from me and growing.
And too, when I talk about you as a writer, because your music really blends a lot of genres. I mean, there's sometimes when you're singing and it's a bunch of melody, and then sometimes when it's shit talk and it's just bars and no hook and you just going in.
Right.
And then it's even, you know, I want to big you up for songs like Feel Me and Pretty Girls. Like those are songs on phases that and maybe you could talk about it. Like Hit My Line is a hit record. But then when you really get to the songs like Feel Me or Pretty Girls, it's like only Melii could write those records. Like those records couldn't come. Nobody can't write that record for you, right? That when you're really talking about your personal life in that way, like it can only come from you.
Right.
Nah, that's dope, man. I wanted to big you up for that. Sauce. What was some of the stigmas early on about? Because I want to kind of break down the eras and how things are changing, and should they be changing? Should we, you know? Sometimes I feel like, nah, we got to hold this standard. We got to hold this line. This hip hop, like, can't anything go? But should we be letting that go? What was some of the stigmas early on that you faced as a writer, or that you saw that artists who had writers face?
If you had a writer, you wasn't real. You know, like, because what happens is when they hear the song, they want to know you started the process from beginning to end. You know what I mean? So if you have somebody coming in doing that for you, it's a lack of respect kind of thing, especially coming from my era. Like, we are purists, we are writers. You know, like you said, it's taboo to do that. But I think that as the industry, you know, is exploded, like, rap is just everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Rap moves the needle for pretty much everything hip hop. You know, so it's just like they don't even care about that now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but from when we was coming up, you had to write your own shit, because you couldn't even open your mouth if you didn't.
But how'd you reconcile that? Because you made a lot of money, or I'm not in your pockets. Let me take that back. But you've had a lot of success writing for others, so you benefited from the artist. You know, Puff was also has the famous line, "No matter if I write rhymes, I write checks."
Right.
And that was one of the earlier examples of breaking the taboo, because everybody knew Puff didn't write, but nobody really spoke about it. And then when he said it, it was like, yo, I can't believe he said that. Yeah, that's kind of a fire line.
Nah, you know what it is, right? It's hard for everybody to have everything. It's hard to have the appearance. It's hard to have the total package. Like, there's some point in your makeup that you need help with. You know what I'm saying? So you may have everything else, but you might lack the songwriting. You know what I'm saying? You may have the songwriting, but you lack the style. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a matter of meshing it together. But, you know, just as far as the pen is concerned, what you gonna do without it? You know what I'm saying? Like, ghostwriting is never gonna go away, especially now. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's never. It just can't, because of the product. They need that finished product, and people gonna pay to their weaknesses. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, can I add on to
that? Absolutely, please.
I feel like before I forget, there's two things. You're right. Like, you know, sometimes people don't have what that person could deliver, the writer can't. You feel me? So it's like, all right, we're working together and it becomes one. But I do understand, like, when people take, like me, when I take pride into actually writing my things, because even though I may not be from, like, your era, I still feel that way. You feel me? And to have a fan base and a support team that you're influencing, they looking up to you. You feel me? So everything that's coming out of you should be real, because that's what they seeing. You know, you want to maintain and keep that type of, like, just, this is me and who I am through your writing too.
Because you're influencing other potential artists. There's somebody in that crowd at a Melii concert who has dreams of being an artist and who will become an artist when it's their time, and they're gonna look at you as the blueprint.
No, and honestly, I've always been, like, vocal about it. That I'm very, like, I communicate a lot with my supporters, and I stay talking to a lot of them. You feel me? Like, artists who they even send me stuff like, yo, listen to this, you think it's cool? And I'll, like, give them feedback, because at the end of the day, like, I wanna be as real as it gets. You feel me? Like I'm from Harlem. I'm from the Jets. I was in my room writing and writing and writing, and then one out of all of my freestyles hit. You feel me? But that came from being consistent. So you don't have to depend on somebody else to give you that when you could just work towards it yourself. You know, and like I said, like you said, like there's a lot of people that you're influencing, and that's what I want to stay real to, because it's like, okay, I might fall a couple times, but I'm still going, and you could do that too.
That's been dope too. You've been very open about your struggles, and that's one of the things that I admire about you, and makes me love you as an artist. As a woman in the listen, and I mean, we've seen it. I know Sauce can agree. And I'm glad we're in this time where I think we're celebrating women in hip hop the way we should be.
Yeah.
But women have it bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it could be tough to be a woman in this industry. And so I guess my question for you was, you're very clear on who you are as an artist. Was it tough to communicate that? Was there times when maybe somebody might have came to you with a song written thinking, and you'll be like, nah, listen, bro, I don't do that. Like talk about like that and how you had to communicate to the industry, maybe through your label or your team or whatever, the type of artist that you are.
No, so like I work directly with Joey Ayi. So like he's always been like, nah, you're gonna like do it on your own. Right. You're gonna keep consistent to it. And then just hearing him is like, oh, you believe in me, you feel me? Like I'm gonna just keep doing it. Like there's no reason for me to get a writer. But I'm not gonna hold you. What else you asked me?
Has there any been a time that somebody's presented you with a song?
Yeah. So that comes from that. So me and them, like, I'll be like, yo, people's actually like offering shit, and then it was like, I was like, nah, like, cause the thing about me is that the people who do that, I tell them, you feel me? I tell them straight up. It's not hard for me to be like no or whatever, but in general, like I feel like it's an opportunity. You feel me? And like if I'm in the position to like get anybody, like, okay, like, look, that's your name on something, I'll do it. But sometimes I just be like I just can't. Like, it's not me being you know. But that has happened, but I can't.
Right. Okay. Nah, and you're right. Like, because you can bump into somebody talented, and y'all might collaborate on something. Let's do this together. I'm writing. You perform your part. I perform my part. Yeah. Or let's write this hook.
Yeah, if it's together, you feel me? Yeah, that's you know that's even better. But no.
So, how did you feel? Because the Puff joint, the album, I know you spoke about this 101 times. That song was so personal. It was about the death of B.I.G. and that was really the memorial of B.I.G. What were you thinking when you were asked to write, when Puff asked you to write that particular record?
Well, initially I didn't know what it was, you know. Then when I got to the studio and we sat down and I finally figured out, you know, what was happening. So it's like, damn, how do you eulogize, like, arguably one of the greatest MCs ever, right? So, you know, I sat with Puff for a minute, and, you know, previously my mother had passed about 2 years before that, maybe 2 or 3 years before that. So I tried to, you know, take those emotions that I had and, you know, try to funnel it through him and make him think, you know, or, you know, project what I think he would want to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it wasn't really too hard to write the record, because it was, you know, we actually wrote the record in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes maybe. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's almost like becoming an actor. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know, once I research him, then I become him. You know what I'm saying? And then you know what I'm saying?
You can put that out. And,
right.
and you had the raw emotion of both having somebody very close to you pass.
Absolutely.
That you could tap into that.
Absolutely.
Melii, would you ever write for some? Wait, have you ever written for somebody?
Writer.
So you've written for others?
I actually, okay, so.
Rule number one to being a writer in the industry.
You gotta like, cause I'll be like, damn, nah, this is mine. Like, that's my only issue. So like, I'd be like, there was this one time, like, I was like in the office and I was like, no, I want that song, and I haven't even touched it. It was just for no reason. I was just like, no, it's mine. It's cause it's about this and it's so personal. But it's just like, nah, like, now I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'll write for anybody now. And I'm actually open to it. Like, there's artists that's, like, reached out to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you working with me? Hey, I'll do it.
That's dope. Do you think, and it's something that I've come to grips with, right? Because, again, I kind of came from an era where you had, if you wanted to be considered, especially on the rap side of things, one of those top tier MCs, then you had to use your pen. I know when me personally when I heard the Drake and the Quentin Miller references, I was just like, nah. Because being a Drake fan, I was just like, nah, I know son is ill.
Right.
And I still think he's dope. I think I heard what I heard, but you know, I still believe that you know, when I hear 4 p.m. in Calabasas and you know, the joints where he gives you the time in the city, I'm like, man, he got like those is raps.
Right.
Should we change our stance on? I mean, should we evolve with the times? I guess is the question. Like I know that was something because it was a big headline, so everybody in hip hop was talking about it. We're several years removed from that. Drake has gone nowhere. Continue to hits, battle against whoever. Does hip hop have to change and evolve? I guess that's the question, right? Like, should we be accepting of this and the change and the evolution of where we're going? Should we still hold the line? And we talk about this often, me and you, so that's why I'm looking at you.
I mean, what are you holding on to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, I don't hear Drake saying he's the greatest rapper ever.
Nah, I don't saying that.
Is he
saying that? Yeah.
I was like,
I haven't heard that
with his chest a lot. I think he wants it. I think you could sense if he hadn't said those
but
words.
it doesn't matter because it's like he's still a writer too.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So it's like it does matter, but it's like you said earlier, we could sit inside a studio and still collab. It doesn't mean that the other person, the writer, necessarily wrote the whole thing.
Right.
You feel me? Like certain people get credits for certain things. Like, even just being in the studio, I still like when you explain certain things to me, I was like, oh, okay, that's why the names are there. You feel me?
Yeah.
But he had said that. Yes, you could continue.
I haven't heard it.
He walks with that energy.
He might got the energy,
right.
But I haven't heard him actually say like I'm the dopest. You know, give me J. Cole. Give me Kendrick Lamar, and then factoring in some allegations of ghostwriting with them, and then it's a whole different conversation. Right. But I don't see him in that purist, and I think he's extremely talented, like super talented. But I don't see him as like a purist,
right?
Like a Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole,
right.
like that.
Was like
so it's almost like I'm not even tripping off of if he got, you know, people in the studio helping him or whatever.
I think so though, because when he says like I came up from the underground though, so I'm gonna spend another 10,000 for Dilla. Like, you know, you don't start talking about guys like Dilla, Fonte, like these are like underground hip hop dudes that you all. I put them in that category. Like me personally, like, and they kill me every time OVO. Every time Drake comes up, they be like, "You hate Drake." I'm not even hating. Is that I put Drake in that category when we talk about the Kendricks and the Coles and the.
Wait, let me ask you a
question. He's up there.
Is it because like he sings too? Is that why you're saying it? Because if I think about J. Cole and Kendrick, like they're straight bars.
Well, nah, they sing too though. If you listen to them, Kendrick and J. Cole. Yeah,
I mean, not like that
though.
They sing, but it's not as consistent as Drake does it. You got what I'm saying?
Right. I just think that, you know, as far as he's concerned, I don't put him in that category as a purist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he can rap and he's talented, of course, but I don't see him as that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get you. And yeah, that's your opinion. Right. I'm kind of, because when I seen the Yachty thing in the Act Up video where have you seen the video where he's kind of telling Young Miami, nah, you got to spit it like this, and they're making fun of it. They know what everybody's talking about.
Like a meme. That's in the actual video.
Yeah, they actually put in the video.
That's mad funny.
Like the video, the music stops and he's kind of coaching her along, and I thought that was smart because I thought that, I mean, you know, everybody's talking about it, so we're gonna give them something to talk about, and we're gonna play along with it. but then the other side of me felt like, damn, man, these kids are gonna watch it and maybe not at least aspire to write they own from the onset, because my favorite rapper doesn't write. This is the way it's done. Like, at least try to write for yourself. It is music, and music is collaborative. Man, go out there and try to write.
That's because that's the MC in you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the love of the culture from the beginning that you have. I watched, you know, it's a different time.
Yeah.
You know, like I watched Lil Yachty go on Hot 97 and say he didn't know who B.I.G. was.
Right.
Then it's all fucked up from that point.
Yeah, but you know
what I'm saying?
Big died 22 years ago. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not one, I think he was trolling a little bit. Two, I knew who Melii Mel was when I was a kid, but not really. Like, I couldn't name you. I wouldn't have gone on and said, I don't know who Melii Mel is, and kind of been proud of it. I think that was just him trolling. But you know, I and Curtis Blow, and you know, I knew basketball.
But you knew the message, right?
Yeah,
you was familiar with the message, right? You know,
but I couldn't go deep.
But okay, even if you don't go deep,
right?
You know the message,
yeah.
Right? To say that you don't know Big is mind blowing to me, man. To be sitting in a New York radio station talking about you don't know who B.I.G. is mind blowing to me,
man. Right.
So once I saw that,
you knew what to expect.
There's no set way to do this shit no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna end it up finally. Like, I kind of feel like, and I'll put myself out there because I'm usually asking questions, but I'm gonna give my opinion. I'm gonna put my thing on the line too. Is I feel like if you're a rapper, if you want to be a rapper in that conversation of when we talk about greatest of all times, I personally, me, to weigh against it, I need you to write. But man, do I fuck with Cardi B music. You know what I'm saying? And she admits that she's not right, but she's very upfront. Like, I'm in it for a different reason. I'm not in it for you could battle about who's the best. She said this. I don't care about I'm not trying to be the best rapper. I'm trying to make the most popping music. I can appreciate that honesty. But if you're not writing, I can't put you on the list, and that's me.
What I respect about her, right? Okay, yeah, she doesn't write. She puts it out there, right? But what I respect about her music is whoever's behind it is substance.
Yeah.
It's not like if you hear her one time, you heard it all.
Well, it feels like her too. It feels like whoever she's writing with or whoever's writing for her are writing those records for, like, because it's her personality in it. They'll take stuff from her personal life, the topics, and so it's that.
Right.
I think within time though, even if you have like writers doing your stuff, you'll learn, you know?
Yeah.
So even that, she could be incorporating some things in there too.
Nah, absolutely. Yeah, yo, you got to say it like this. Nah, I need this line. Yo, I came up with this line. Build that around it. I feel you. But I also really love when Melii raps. So she got this record called Shit Talk.
Thank you.
It's just, like, it's one of my favorite records that she does it in English. She does it in Spanish. Like, when we talk about Spitter.
Right.
I love when you just go off, yo. You know, and to hit my lines, I love to hit records too, but like, I'm a rap fan. Like, when you get in your fucking bag, I gotta salute you. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate the effort that you put into that.
It's dope.
Keep doing it, man. We want to hear from y'all though. You know what I'm saying? First of all, before we go, Phases is out now, so y'all can stream that. Y'all can get that on iTunes. I don't think iTunes exists anymore. But definitely look at every platform you can look on it. You know, Sauce working on some things, right? Can we say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're always working on some things.
Well, yeah. Well, we're working on In Memory Of now, which be my last album, which is actually a dedication to my father. So that's what's in the works right now.
I look forward to that, and we'll continue to build. And with y'all, I just want to continue to have this conversation with y'all. Like I said, this is a space where we have conversation. Y'all know I'll be in these comments. How do you feel about writers / ghostwriters in hip hop? Should hip hop evolve? Should we be more accepting of it? Or should we kind of hold the line and hold on to a standard that was set long ago? It's interesting, man. But leave the comments in the comment section. I'm going to talk right back to y'all, all right? Until next week, this is For the Record. Peace.